We're going to talk a little bit about how we can take an image like this, and we have a bitmap image below and then the contours that form the bitmap above, and we want to make these shapes here look like PVC. So how we're going to do that is we're likely going to need to create some contours for certain areas that are going to just merge into each other. We're going to separate things a little bit, and then we can use some sweep to rails or possibly some extrusions to get the outer border there. So we'll just do a couple of these here so you can see how the process goes. And I'm going to start off with just something straightforward like this. Now this would be quite an easy one because this is going to be a straight line here. The length of each rail, if we were to create rails, would be the same, and if I check the width of the letter here, or the width of the distance here in between each side, it's going to be the same either way. So there's probably a number of ways you can create this one. I'm going to do a Control-C here to copy this. I'm going to put in a flat, no thickness relief with a DPI of 50. Alright, I'm going to go to the other layer and hit Paste to Active Layers, Transform, Explode, move the ends here. When you're doing sweep to rails, you want the rails to go in the same direction. So I'm going to come here and do a reverse open contour and see that that goes a little bit past there. I'm even going to come here and do just a little bit extra 0.1 on each of these ends. I like to go past the edge of the part. So I'm going to go a little bit past on each side here. And there we have our rails. I added some unnecessary points there, so I'll do a little cleanup and get rid of those. Alright, now I'll go back here. I have my relief. I need to create my profile that I'm going to sweep between these two rails, and this profile will be scaled down to the size of the distance between the rails. Now I'm going to hit select my relief. Let's go here. I'll go to my toolbar button, sweep to rails, turn on the other layer. Here's my first rail. Here's my second rail, and the sweep sections 1, 2, and I'll add this on to my current bitmap. So that will add a nice rounded part here, just like a PVC pipe, and that's going to be kind of the process we're going to use. Now some of these, because a rail will actually be based upon the distance from the start point and not what's perpendicular to the other side of it, there are some circumstances where it's going to be a little tougher to use that, and another situation is going to be where when we have a situation where you have a wider rail at one part than you do at the other. So you know, you can adjust this by making this distance the same distance as up here, or you can, you know, that depends upon how you want to handle it. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to come here and transform this and explode. Let's get this line here. Let's get rid of all this. Alright, now I'm going to select this again and merge this back together. Now let's do a little measuring here. Distance, snap to endpoint. That's 1.4062. So that's approximately the difference there. I'm going to select this one, do an offset here, outline 1.4062, apply. Right, now I have the same distance between these two parts. Now this time I'm going to use extrude, so I want this to be the same size as that offset, and I already forgot what that was, so let's 1.4062. .4062. Alright, now I have this the same distance as that. Now I'm actually going to come here, I'm gonna copy this outside part here. I'm going to do a Control-C, paste this to the active layer. This is going to be part of my extrusion now. I'm just going to come here to join contours, and I'm going to join these parts like this. Now I'm going to make this a flat, no thickness relief. I'm going to do that little extra 0.1 length. Sometimes you have to turn off your snaps there. We'll just go by length then, or by graphic here. I'm not sure why then that one isn't extending. There we go. That end extended. Sometimes that might be a little cleanup. That's the problem there. There we go. That cleanup allowed me to continue that a little bit. Okay, so here I have my part. I'm going to come back here, and this time it's going to be an extrusion. Select the contour to be extruded, which is this profile, which is the same width across as this. Select the path to follow. I'm going to turn on the other layer here, select this path. I'm going to choose the bottom left hand part of this side to go along here, and I didn't really check the direction here, so that would only work if this contour was going this way. Let's give it a try here. Okay, and there I see I made a little half round there, and it's the same width there, and it just looks a little bent. So here's how you're going to do those pipes for that part of the equation, and that should come out looking quite good, and that would work for this whole part here, this inside outside. You could do and I would use extrusion for both of these, not the sweep to rails. Now when it comes to something like this one, this is where you might want to consider something a little different here. I would consider coming here and maybe instead of let's make sure we have these two selected here. I'm just going to pull those down here a little bit. Alright, so you're going to have to do a little work here maybe to get this just right. Okay, now you would have to adjust obviously any offsets that were based upon this contour. You might need to do a little bit of work there just to make those look like they match the new shape. Now we're going to come here and make this a flat, no thickness relief. And actually, it's a little bit of an unknown offset value there, so let's delete this one here. Transform, explode. I kind of did this the hard way before. Let's just come here and do our offset value. Inline will show me a little preview. Just keep moving this, and now I know I'm going to do 2.2. All right, that's my value here. And join contours will allow me to close these up. I'm going to do a flat, no thickness relief here. And let's imagine what a little connector might look like here. I'm just going to go, I'm not going to be too concerned if this is perfect or not. Alright, and then F2 to bring up Precision Input Center, and we're going to make this 2.2, and you can make the height be whatever you wanted it to be there. Okay, now we have this line here. I need a contour. I'm going to Control C this, paste this to the active layer, delete this, explode the contours, and remove these edges. I realize I'm going kind of fast here, but I'm trying to do this one in a hurry. And I'm going to offset this one 1.1 inches. I know this 1.1 should be right in the middle of this other contour here. Let's try that extrusion again. There we go. That one was able to lengthen okay. Clear that up. But we don't have to do that on this used to doing those. Okay, so now we're going to come here and we're going to select our relief. We're going to say extrude. Here's a contour to be extruded. Here's the path to follow. I want the bottom middle of this to extrude along that path. Alright, so that might be okay. We might have to add a little vertical return there. Let's make a copy of this one here. With EnRoute, we can do a little rotation there, but quite easily, and let's see, that's okay. Now probably let's see, if the height of this one is 0.54, then let's come here and let's just add on a little 0.25 to that. Let's try it one more time. Oh, I don't think I quite rotated that the right way. Alright, so it's going to go back here one more time. That's how it would actually more likely look. Alright, and we'll go to the side here and just see. I mean, you can play around with this and kind of make this fit in there as much as you want, but now you do have the ability here to work with this one. Now let's come here and once again, let's add that 0.25. See, all that did is raise that up a little bit. That kind of looks good. So here's the here's how I might consider doing these values here. Now, the last thing here is these letters, which somebody's kind of put into the design of the letters this little bit of a loop, but we're going to get rid of this here. So we're going to go to our point edit mode, cut that contour, cut that contour. So our objective is just going to be to go in there and get rid of all these little points like that, and we can just do this another way if we want to make it easier on ourselves. And just cut these little shapes off using the cut by line tool as well. And that's all the one this one had. Now to get these shapes looking like PVC, we're going to want to break this up into straight line segments. So we're going to come here and say first of all, let's go ahead and make a sharp corner here. So we're going to extend this to boundaries, all boundaries. Oh, I see there's a little bit of a, just a little bit of a cut right there, and so that's why it's extending that other direction. Go over here, then to boundaries, all boundaries. Now some of these over here we haven't broken apart yet, so we're just going to come here and sharpen these a little bit. Okay, so we've got this part. Again, I want to reduce unnecessary points here. Now I'm going to take this and merge it together. Just make sure that's a closed shape. It is. Hit Control C here. And go to paste to active layer. Now what I need to do is create some rails, and these rails are going to serve to do my shape. Alright, so I'm going to go here and say explode again. That's why when I do all that cleanup, I get rid of any unnecessary points and I get some good rails. So here's going to be my rails for the middle. And I'm going to come here and I'm going to extend this by length 1 inch. Let's go each of these sides here. That's one group of rails. Alright, the next group of rails, is going to be this one and this one. I need to join those two together. So I'll use join contours here. And just to get these out of here for a second, let's come here and let's move these up 10 inches and no eye. Alright, now I'm going to join this and this, join this and this. I can get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of this. We're going to extend this by boundaries. Each one of these, I just do this extension here. I didn't really want to do that. I wanted to do it by length, just to make sure I extend past the edge of the part when I'm doing these rails. Now I'll come here and clean these up a little bit. Okay, now I can move these back down. Oh, sorry, 10 inches. And get those back to their original spot. Now if I turn this on, I should see everything still based upon where my other shape was. Now I'm going to come here and make this a flat, no thickness relief. Alright, let's go back and get our little profile again. I'll always put my profile where I'm going to do my sweep 2 rails. Okay, now we can come here, turn on our rails. I'm going to go to sweep 2 rails, and it's going to say select the first rail. Oh, one thing I need to do before I go to this stage is actually make sure that my rails are in the same direction. So we're going to start at the top and go down. Just going to have to change one of each of these. Alright, other layer, turn both on. Sweep 2 rails, select the first rail, which is here, second rail, which is here, and my sweep sections 1, 2. I don't see my sweep sections there, so let's try this again. First rail, second rail, sweep sections 1, 2. When you do your sweep sections, you see that green line appear at the end of each of the rails. And if we do that, we see we've got a nice pipe looking part through there. Now we're going to do sweep 2 rails again. Here's the first rail, second rail, sweep sections 1, 2, and we're going to say merge highest here. That way they're going to blend together nicely here. And the last one, and you always have to have your relief selected before you can make any changes to it. We're going to go to the first rail. We'll just pick right in the middle here. Second rail, sweep sections 1, 2, merge highest again. Alright, so there we have an H that's going to give the appearance of being made as a PVC. You would have to go through this process for each of these letters. And when it comes to this S shape, you're going to have to and this is where I first discovered this. Anything that can be broken up into straight lines, you can do like this. The S shape does not work with sweep 2 rails. So what I'm going to do is come here and one more time, let's measure this distance. .3815. All right. So I'm going to come here and cut this. At each of these corners here. Okay. Now I'm going to go to this one. I want to say 2.3815, and you know, you have a little bit of a problem because it gives you a little bit of an awkward look here, But if you want to make this look like it's something that's being created with PVC, then you have to keep your distance here equal, because otherwise you end up having a problem where it doesn't quite look right. So I'm gonna hit apply here. I don't know if you have the latitude to change this to this degree, but if you do, this is gonna look better. Right now I'm gonna come here. Do that one. Do that one. All right, so this looks a little funny here. I'm going to do a Control C to copy this, but this is what we can make an exact PVC looking part out of. Now I'm going to go to this other layer, and we're going to do the same thing we did last time. So we're going to get rid of that one, get rid of that one, and either one of these we'll get rid of. I kind of like the look of this one better, so I'm going to stick with this one. Alright, I'm going to come here and extend this. Just go past the edge there. So there's my rail. Here's my relief. Flat, no thickness. Going back to extrude. Turn on the other layer. Except for we've got one more thing here. Bring my profile, I'm going to extrude over. Alright, now I'm going to make sure I remember that offset value 2.3815. This needs to be 2.3815. Whenever you're using an extrude, this profile needs to be the distance of the line you're extruding across. Sweep to rails will switch, but you can't use sweep to rails on a shape like this. It doesn't keep perpendicular to the other layer. It goes by distance, and so you know, here and here you just don't get quite the result you might expect here. So we need to use the right type of application here, and we'll use extrude, and we need to keep this width here the same as the profile width. So going back here now, we're going to go to extrude. Here's the part we want to extrude. Here's the path to follow. We're going to go lower left here, add, must have done something wrong on that one. Let's see here. Here's the food, here's the path to follow. And if this doesn't work, then here's what I'm going to do on this one. I'm going to come here and do an offset. Divided by 2, and this goes right down the middle. You know, it's always easier to select something that goes down the middle. So now I'm going to select this one, do my extrude contours, contour to be extruded, path to follow is the middle. Now I know it's the middle path here. I'm going to add, and there we go. So now that's the way we're going to get our H looking right. And so these texts can probably not be done as is, but can be done quite easily. And if you like my little piece here, then you can use that all the way around. Otherwise, you have to decide how you want to handle these little things, but an extrusion would be the way to do it. These types of parts are pretty easy. You're just going to put a little rounded profile probably on these, and then a base of some amount to give it a little bit more height, and then you'll have at least some kind of profile there.